All right, so this is John Fahey. I'm doing week 4. I have to do a classic play or contemporary play on a classic dish and a wine pairing with it. So I'm actually at work right now. This is our dining room. See, this is our dining room really fast. Okay, this is Josh. This is one of my coworkers. He's gonna help me out because I don't really drink, but he loves to drink. He works in the kitchen, so I think he does it to, I don't know, make himself feel better. But what we have here is I went with paella because it's kind of like a deconstructed paella. So I'll go through all the components here. Right here, these are saffron and artichoke arancini. It's got a chorizo aioli under it. This is toast points with an artichoke roux. And then I have a seared scallops, rock shrimp, and red wine braised octopus. And then that's also Chilean sea bass in the center, and that's a roasted tomato and fennel sofrito. So the wine that I chose for this, I chose to go with a Spanish wine because it's only suitable that, you know, paella is like, besides from, what's the omelet that they do, I don't know. It's not coming to me right now, but this is not their actual, this is not their actual classical dish or country's dish, but it's got some Prince Edward Island mussels, and then it's also drizzled with a chorizo oil. But I did a Albert Noya Tempranillo. It's a 2012 that we have. The reason I chose that is because it's going to have a little bit of spiciness. From the descriptions that I've read, again, because I don't drink wine, so it's a little bit difficult for me to pair with it, but I know food pretty well and like the components. So it's described as peppery, and the spiciness is, to me, I would describe it, again, not from drinking it, it's almost like a raw garlic. Like if you have too much raw garlic in a dish, it's not garlicky, it becomes spicy. But it's got a full tannin, so I think it's going to work well with the acidity and then some of the buttery components because it's a full-flavored dish going to be paired with a full-flavored wine. So artichoke roux is just like a typical condiment that's got ground chilies, peppers, garlic. It's got olive oil, a little bit of breadcrumbs to give it some texture, just a puree. It's usually served with like bouillabaisse, but traditional paella has artichokes in it, and usually that's the reason I went with like the little crispy risotto fritters, is because usually you have that what's the stuff in the bottom of the pan? I don't remember the name. I'm drawing a blank right now. I think it's from seeing my actual face on the screen, but so Josh is going to help me out. For myself, I'm going to be drinking a Tazo varietal. It's a wild sweet orange, so it was orange. That's really the only allure that I chose to pick, but I'm actually kind of coming into where I like these. A lot of them have like an herbiness and citrusy, some of the teas. I mean, it's just another way you can make fun of me in the kitchen as far as being that guy that drinks teas. But so I'm going to start by taking a little. I get like clove, cinnamon. It's like, I get some vanilla. You want to smell mine? I'll smell yours. I won't breathe in it, so you don't have to. This one looks a little thin, like the alcohol content's not too strong.
Got a strong scent though. You can almost taste it just smelling it.
Fruity, yeah. I get that pepperiness, you know, from smelling it. I bet it's a good one. So yeah, we'll do a little bit of tasting. I'm a rock shrimp guy. I lived in Florida for a long time, so and that's like pretty much where they grow out of. So I love rock shrimp. Anytime I see them and they're offered as special or whatever from any of our purveyors, I grab them up. So, and that's also a baby octopus there. It's cute, little. I braised that in red wine, so it's got a little. The gummy chewiness of it is not so much there because they have a tendency, if you just quick pan fry them, to be a little tough. Shrimp's a little overcooked, but sorry, I was trying to get.
Octopus is
20,
perfect, actually.
20 components. So I let it go I just rubbed it down, salt and pepper, and then let it go for about an hour and 30 minutes totally submerged in red wine. So I'm sure it picked up some of the acidity from it, but, you know, lost some of the
There's a sweetness that comes through, actually.
Saltiness too from the scallops. I love scallops. See a little cross section. He just snatched that up too quick.
Fine.
So now you can see the. I'm trying to look through my own screen, but here might be easier if I just cut it that way. It's all yellow. It's got like all the saffron color. Still got all the steam coming out of it. A little creaminess from the chorizo. Good.
The low alcohol in the wine pairs nicely with the spicy too. I find alcohol and spice don't mix really well together. You just end up tasting a little boozy. But this just goes well with this because it's not as alcoholic. You get more of a wine than just like a mouthful of alcohol.
A lot of the people that we've been posting on the class and like the website and stuff, or the little discussion forums that we have, they're saying like this week's particular one happened to be on like the flaws in the kitchen as far as pairing wine. So I played off of what you said last week with that, you know, with the white wine that could have a little bit more tartness to go with it, but that seemed to be the sum, as a lot of people thought that, you know, some of if you pair the wrong wine, it goes bitter real quick south, you know what I mean? But it can make your meal, which is just a good meal by itself, not good if you have bad wine paired with it. So I'm sure that it can make a good wine also paired with a bad meal. This is not the case here, trust me, but make your wine go south too, your experience. But even if you have, you know, two good things compared, or, you know, put in contrast, if they don't work well together, they don't work well together.
Well, and I like the contrast of the red wine with the seafood. It's not often a pairing.
Yeah.
You see it less than.
I was actually in
white.
debates about going with the white wine and then.
I think in this particular application, the red's really the way forward.
Well, I'd had to ask because I consulted our actual bar manager, which is close to what we have as being a sommelier here, but he's pretty fluent and, you know, versed with the different varietals and a more educated wine pairing than a lot of the people might be in the, you know, in the world. But I had to consult him because I was thinking white all day. But then even as looking at all the components on the dish, I mean, there's hearty, full flavor, acidic, all the stuff. Just because it's seafood, it's like one of those things. Like we even learned about, there's like two different. There's an analytical approach, which you like assess wine, and then there's the old school method, which is the quick fix. It's like red meats, red wine, white seafood, everything else is like white wine, which, you know, it was like a debate on how efficient that is, or which I felt it's good for a quick fix, but, you know, if you're going to put some thought and time into it, red wine being the case can actually probably pair better with a usually traditional white wine.
It pairs really well with this.
So
I think it was a good choice.
I'm going in for my tea. This is like so acidic. Like I didn't put anything in except for water in that tea, but it's like very pronounced. It's almost like a tangerine.
It's an orange in there, probably, and cloves.
It's good. It's almost like drinking juice. But it's got orange peel, very much. We actually got some preserved blood orange in the office right now that I preserved like a month ago. That it's kind of reminiscent of that. It's got the sweet, but it's also like the acidic. And I would say that the pith is probably as close to me tasting tannins from a wine as I could get without consuming alcohol. Maybe the pith of like the orange, you know, where you get that bitterness. Yeah. But and then it says like an afternote of licorice, so I could get a little bit of anise like on the finish. But so I guess that pairs well with the tomato and fennel sofrito. So that's what I got for the week. Next week we're doing a cheese and wine, so that'll be quite delightful. Maybe we'll do some cheese. Yeah, fancy cheese. We'll do a couple good. We gotta leave them out at an hour for room temp for it to be whatever, tempered or whatever. I don't remember the proper term. Sorry, got a million things going on right now, but that's another story. So week 4, we've got the Tempranillo Spanish wine. It is from Pinedas, Spain, 100% Tempranillo varietal. It's Albert Noya, and this is a 2012 going with a deconstructed paella. It's got some little Lobster saffron arancini, chorizo aioli, seared scallops, rock shrimp, and Chilean sea bass with some red wine braised octopus, roasted tomato and fennel sofrito, and then toast points with a artichoke roux. All right? A+ all day. Thank you.